Morning everyone, welcome to the shop and welcome to my new car, which just means new issues. The ones that we need to fix. This is my E90 that I bought because I was tired of fixing my daily all the time, and so today we're going to be fixing my daily. It needs a couple things. I bought this thing from a dealership, and I more or less paid extra for this car from a dealership because they assured me that they specialized in BMWs and took care of all the BMW pain points because they knew what those were. Stuff like the oil filter housing gasket, valve cover gasket, and oil pan gasket. They did do those. But you can't just do a valve cover gasket on these, you have to replace the whole valve cover because they warp over time. They age out at about the same time as the gasket. So, I got in the car to go to Cars and Coffee and it absolutely started smoking up a storm because it was just pouring oil right on the catalytic converter. Things that happen when you have a warped valve cover gasket. But beyond just fixing this car, also the starter, it needs a starter, because of course it needs a starter, it's an N52. So to do the starter, we gotta take off the intake manifold, which is actually very easy on these, in theory. So,
Better than an N54.
Better than an N54 for sure. So, I decided to do a 330 conversion while we're here. These two plugs right here are for two-stage DISA, which is the only thing differentiating a 328i from a 330i. So by simply bolting on a two-stage DISA intake manifold and then flashing the 330i tune, you pick up like 35 horsepower. So in that Home Depot box for some reason over there is said intake manifold from eBay. I think it was about $250. It's probably the cheapest power gain you'll ever see in any car ever. But we've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. So it's been like 30 seconds, we've already identified several things. Also, we took off the whole cowl and stuff, it's super easy. They literally only did the valve cover gasket. Valvetronic gasket? No. Valvetronic sensor gasket? No. All full of oil. Go figure. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the starter needs done too, so we're gonna do that. I should probably go grab the starter out of the house. And an LS400 has showed up. It probably needs more than this car does, because Toyotas are reliable. Oh yeah, DME covers off so we can get easy access to all this stuff. Honestly, like, Tyler was telling me what tools to go get, and by the time I had the tools, he had this all apart, so I don't even know how this all worked.
Well, I've been here before, so...
Yeah, he just did all this on that, so...
Yeah, basically it's just a handful of 8 mils that hold in the cowl panel. And then you unclip the harnesses, pull these out, and then the whole thing comes out. It's sitting over there. And on the coupes, which mine doesn't have this is the chassis brace. Got a bolt here, bolt on either side, so you get valve cover up and out. And I think we're going to try and loosen the harness on this more than I did on mine, because it was a fight.
Yeah.
And since we're going to pull the fuel rail since we're doing the manifold anyway, so we'll be able to pick it up and lay it over and make things 10 times easier.
Also, we just got done rescuing his grandpa's truck, which was sunken halfway into a field behind his childhood house and completely surrounded by these little bastards, which I am now covered in. He's not, because he has boots. I didn't know any better. But, what was it? It's a
79 F-150, 302 two-wheel drive, C6, style side, single cab, long bed.
Dope-ass truck.
Yeah, we'll throw a picture on there.
Yep. We bought wheels and tires for it because we knew the tires that were on it were hosed, and that was just easier. And had it towed out. So now we're back and we're working on this. And I've got to go to work tomorrow, so hopefully we get it all done. Frighteningly, I'm already about ready to take off the intake manifold just after removing the airbox, the blocked off DISA connections, some wires moved out of the way.
Unclip everything. Yeah.
Unclip everything off of it.
You don't actually have to remove the fuel rail, but I pulled the rail so that we can get more clearance on the valve cover.
Yeah, doing all this at once.
This harness goes right there.
Ripping this Band-Aid off by doing all this at once is really going to make all of these jobs... Oh, I need to remove these cross braces probably.
Yeah.
Make my life easier.
Also to note, when you're removing the valve cover on these, you've got your crankcase vent hose here, and you have the cold weather one because you got the insulation.
Adorable.
These break a lot, So if you're doing a valve cover, order one of your crankcase vent hoses. They're like $50.
Hey, guess what we didn't order?
Crankcase vent hose. See, I was just gonna roll with it, and you know, you could say you were prepared.
Try not to break it.
We won't break it.
Also, we have nuggies.
Yeah.
Nuggies are always good.
Edward brought us nuggies. He's the real MVP. Down here you've got the CCV line that I was talking about. It disconnects from the intake. Once you've unbolted it, you can lift the intake up, get your hand in through here, or if you got big old arms, you can unbolt the alternator and have. You can unbolt the alternator and have more access here. But
yeah.
You know, me, I'm skinny guy, so,
look at me. Like, I'm skinny. You are, god dang.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Wait, what is your tattoo?
Makes me a good mechanic. Drive in peace.
It's supposed to be a tombstone, now it's just a nipple.
Oh my god.
Cool. I'm sorry I asked.
I can't with y'all. I just can't.
I'm just frustrated.
And you've got a T off of the CCV line that's way the frick back here.
I'm just upset because it took me like 5 hours to get to this point on my E46.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, well, our biggest issue is just getting those stupid lines unhooked. Let me see if I can get in there and grab it up from the other side. It's all about access. Mm-hmm. Hey, there's your starter.
Found it.
Yeah. I hate these stupid clips. Come on. Yeah, they're supposed to be quick.
Hey.
All right, you're disconnected. Your intake should be free to remove now.
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
I don't have the ability to do.
Hey. Oh yeah. Hey, hold on. I need the pick. Lift me up. All right. Unplug that. Just take it easy. We might still have something connected on the bottom there.
That we do.
Yeah?
TPMS. TPS.
Oh yeah, throttle body.
Throttle body.
Forgot to unplug that. Whoops.
Good thing we disconnected the intake tire pressure monitor system. That could have been real bad.
Yeah, we definitely want it to inflate every time you floor it, right?
Yeah. Hey, your front left tire is low in the intake. Pick. Scalpel.
A couple other things in addition. You've got a little harness block here and one more vacuum line that plugs into the side of the intake that you have to get to. This was kind of a pain in the ass. What worked for me, I just got under it with a pick and pulled those apart because you can't really get your fingers in there and squeeze it. Hey now. And then a couple T30s hold this bracket to the bottom of the intake. And if my math is correct, everything looks to be separated from the intake, and we're ready to pull this thing off. So we're gonna.
I'm helping.
Give her a quick go. Oh, we got one more little clip here. Oh yeah, there we go.
I gotta draw dirt.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so there you go. We can showcase the differences between the two-stage or the three-stage manifold and the
Zero stage.
the zero stage that does not have any DISA valves. So basically, the performance improvement is the 330i motor has a variable stage intake, so the runners can change lengths dynamically. And somehow with the 330 tune, that is worth an additional like 30 horsepower, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, you'll see on here, you've got different chambers. Top of it's a little bigger, and yeah, not too much different, but internally they are wildly different. So.
Oh yeah, wait, what the hell?
Yeah.
And there's like a CCV on the bottom of that one.
Oh yeah.
How does that work?
That's a good question, sir.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to point out. So, kind of the beauty of the N52s. I'm kind of a nerd for these motors ever since I learned about them. One of BMW's first bimetal blocks, so it's both magnesium and aluminum. Really cool. And these cylinder heads are CNC ported. Like these aren't as cast.
Yeah.
So those inlet ports are CNC ported. Man, that's like race car stuff. So that's
well, it's a race car, so.
Hey, look, a bouncy ball.
What?
Yeah. I bet that's a German bouncy ball.
Valve cover's coming off, and then it's time to start reassembling things, I guess.
I think Jake's just mad because I'm better at this.
Oh yeah, starter's out. I hope you remember how this all went back together, because I sure don't.
What? I thought you were keeping track.
What are we doing?
Alright, so we're pulling the Valvetronic motor. On these, I kind of learned it the hard way. Don't just unbolt them and pull them out, because your Valvetronic levers will just snap back into place, and that's bad on valve train components. So what we do, break these two E8 and or 1/4 inch if you don't have a E-torque set, and there's one down here that holds it down, down there at the bottom. It kind of sucks to get to. If you pull the ignition coil harness back, you can get to it. Pull that out, loosen these, and then you get a 4mm Allen key or socket or whatever, and you rotate this motor clockwise in until you get some looseness on those bolts. Pull the bolts out, and now it's in there. So you've got a worm gear on the end of the Valvetronic motor that actuates the eccentric shaft. And once you do that, basically it's just a opposite counterclockwise motion as you're pulling it out, and it'll release, and there's your worm gear there. Yeah, somebody else goobered that up real good. Yeah, when they did the valve cover, very likely they did what I just explained not to do, and damaged the end of that worm gear. Doesn't look too bad. I would probably start looking for another one just to replace it.
Yeah.
Peace of mind, because
that'll easy to replace.
Because eventually that'll wear on your eccentric shaft there and start goobering it up. So, and it does actually look like it has started to wear a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, it does have marks on it. Does it feel like we spend half our lives fixing screw-ups by incompetent mechanics?
I live that every single day. So,
anyway.
the amount of cars that I get from other mechanics.
Yeah.
Alright, so all but a couple of these bolts on here are captive. It's these two right here in the middle that are not. And make sure you keep track of those, because those will transfer to your new valve cover when you buy it and bring it over.
Oh,
but
I was supposed to keep track of those, so I threw them somewhere over there.
way to go. You hold that up. Same struggle I had with mine. I love it. This is the E90 straddle here. The struggle straddle. I love that we've got like 3 bundles and a fuel rail to keep track of as we're doing this.
Installing this, I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, it's installation is the inverse of removal. Oh yeah, look at what we found. These are, looks like some of the chambers for like the PCV system that obviously somebody broke and attempted to glue back together, which, you know,
Cool.
doesn't tend to fare well inside of an engine with many rotating parts. Oh, hey, love that. I don't think that was in there before. I think that's just one of your grommets, luckily. Save your heat shields for your spark plugs or your ignition coils.
So this is no longer turning a 328i into a 330i because I didn't look close enough at the eBay listing for this intake manifold, or I would have seen that these DISA flaps are completely shot and need rebuilt. So now I get to spend another $160 on a rebuild kit. Yay! As well as buying the new Valvetronic motor. So this just continues to get more expensive. We removed the wiring for the fuel
rail,
fuel injectors, which made putting the valve cover on a lot easier than it was taking it off. So definitely do that if you're doing this job.
We also unbolted and moved the coolant reservoir.
Yeah, I removed the coolant pressure reservoir out of the tank as well, so out of the way as well. So now we're getting things back together. We're losing light rapidly, so we're just going to try and wrap this up as quick as possible. New starter is in, new valve cover is in. Valve cover looks excellent. Came with all the hardware we need, all the clips, everything. New gasket for the Valvetronic, so that's all good to go.
Only thing that we had to reuse on these when you buy the Amazon ones, the only hardware they don't come with is the 3 that go on this bracket here. Those bolts you have to actually use from your old valve cover, and the oil cap.
Right, yeah. So we're gonna throw this back together and hopefully it's good to go. Illuminate me. I can't see. It's back together. We're about to go for first start. Nothing to report. Like, assembly went smoothly. Let's see if starting it goes equally as smoothly. I'm gonna set you here. Yeah, just like that.
Go for it.
Well, it's day 2 of this. What happened between last time that I recorded and right now is about 8 hours of suffering and confusion. Got the car back together, drove to dinner, and
Isn't that your whole life?
That is my whole life, yes, actually. Got it together, went to dinner, I went into limp mode, came back, and I kept getting codes for Valvetronic issues. I did recalibrations about a dozen times, did all kinds of fiddling with it. Then today I did a whole bunch more fiddling with it this morning in an attempt to get it fixed before work. Then I got back, did a bunch more fiddling with it. Then Tyler showed up, and he has seen enough of these Valvetronic motors that he was able to pull it and immediately figure out what was wrong with it. Where is the old one? There it is.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, so
we did bang it back into place, but the shaft on the motor itself had somehow sprung backwards, not when we removed it, and because it came out without resistance or anything like that, and this end of the shaft was sticking out about 1/8 of an inch, and that's why he was getting binding. It also had some damage here on the worm gear as well, so, and yeah, the flange itself was bent, which I kind of regret we didn't notice that when we removed it.
So someone dropped this.
Yeah.
Probably the dealership I bought this from dropped the Valvetronic motor, damaged the internal bearings, and bent the flange, which I bet you is actually what my oil leak was, because then that isn't a flat surface to seal against the Valvetronic gasket. That was leaking oil, and then I bet you when I was recalibrating it, it just ran up against the stop like it's supposed to, and
pushed that shaft
pushed the shaft back because the bearing was damaged. So yeah, big nightmare. Fortunately, I messaged 2 people on Facebook Marketplace, and one of them responded, and we went and bought an 80,000 mile Valvetronic motor off of Facebook Marketplace for $50.
Yep.
And got it pulled, and now we're gonna reinstall it. Oh, let me go pull the battery cable, because we're gonna do this like textbook. Where the hell's the 10?
In there.
In there. Yep. Yeah, these are all the tools that you need. All in one place. So we're gonna do everything as close to textbook with the BMW procedure as possible. I can't words right now. It's cold. It got cold between yesterday and today. The high was like 56 instead of 80. I hate it.
Low is below freezing.
I love this lighting. Half my face is white, half of it is amber. It looks very, very good in the screen on the camera. Anyway, let's engine.
Right there. Screw that thing. Absolute pain, even with the U-joint and stuff.
Wow. It's together-ish. I mean, there's a substantial amount of parts yet to go on, but for now, I just need... Wait, where is it? I had it last. Where's the ratchet?
Position 2, 30 seconds. 3.
What an awful noise. Valvetronic limits. Continue. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was a full cycle.
Yep.
Okay, so let's let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Let me know if it explodes.
I'm gonna stand back here in case it does.
Somehow, I guess I never managed to actually finish this video. So to kind of summarize what happened, the valve cover gasket was replaced. The valve cover was not replaced. The valve cover was broken and then glued back together. The Valvetronic gasket and the Valvetronic sensor gasket were not replaced. The Valvetronic motor was broken. And it made a horrendous noise when we got it back together. That noise eventually went away. I think that was just the worn eccentric shaft kind of wearing into the less worn replacement Valvetronic motor. And I've been driving it now for about a month with no issues since I recorded this. This video is very old because it didn't fit in the schedule. Anyway, the car is good now, so yeah, I actually just got my DISA valve rebuild, so hopefully we'll actually be able to follow up on the 3-stage intake manifold here soon-ish. Hopefully. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.